Hello my dear students and welcome back to my online class. Hope you all are doing well at home. Today we are going to discuss the chapter called motion, that is chapter 8 from class 9 science. So when you look at the title of the chapter, that is motion, what thing comes to your mind? Motion means what? The movement, isn't it? So if you look around you, you can see many things. You can see a tree, you can see a building, or you can see some vehicles or some person that are passing by the road. Yes or no? So if you observe those things or those objects, what comes to your mind? That some objects are moving whereas some are not. Yes or no? Some are stationary objects, that is fixed, or some are moving. So you can get two terms from here, that is rest and motion. Rest and motion means what? When the objects will change the position with the time. When there will be change in the position of the object, that will be always with time, isn't it? If there is no time difference, obviously there will be no change in their position. So when their position changes with time, it is called motion, or then we say that the object is in motion. And when the position of the object will not change with time, it is remaining in the same place, maybe all throughout its lifetime, or maybe for 1-2 hours, then we say that those objects are at rest. Okay, so from this rest and motion, we can understand that when the position changes with time, it is called motion, and when the position do not change, it is called rest. Okay, this is the picture of the objects that I have already said surrounding us. Yes or no? What is the first picture? That of a flying bird. If the bird will not fly, if the bird will just sit on a branch of a tree, that means the bird is at rest. But when the bird will fly on the sky, then the bird is in motion. Similarly, this picture is that of a car. If the car is parked on a place, it is at rest. No one is driving the car. But if one driver or someone will come and drive the car, that means the car is in motion. This is the picture of a boy standing where he has no motion, he is at rest. And similarly, if we ride the cycle is in motion, whereas if the cycle is standing on one place, that means it is at rest. Okay. Now, the objects that we have said that which are in rest or which are in a fixed point, it is called reference point or a stationary point. That means, look at the picture. This is the picture of a railway station. This is the picture of Eiffel Tower. This is the picture of a street light or street light post. So these objects are stationary. They are not going to change the position. So this we consider as a reference point. Why we take it as a reference point? Because we can measure the distance the object has covered or the object has traveled with the help of these reference points, okay, or these landmarks. Okay, so it helps in measuring the distance covered by the object. The reference point is also called as origin because we take it as the origin point. Okay. Now, these two terms, distance and displacement, okay, they are similar, almost similar, but with a slight difference. Now, distance means what? It is the total part covered by the object. Now, when the object will move from one place to another, it will cover certain distance, certain part. So, if we sum up the part that is covered by that object, we get the distance. That means it is irrespective of any direction. It does not cover up the direction, because look at this example. Suppose there are 4 friends, A, B, C and D. Now the place from A to B is 2 kilometers. From B to C it is 1 kilometer. From C to D is 2 kilometer far. And again from A to D is 1 kilometer distance. Now if suppose A has to cover up all this part, from A to B, B to C, again C to D, again from this place to A, return back to his own place. He have to cover up what distance? 2 kilometer plus 1 kilometer plus 2 kilometer plus 1 kilometer. That is total 6 kilometers. That means this is the sum of the small part that he traveled. So distance means the addition of the total part that is covered by an object, irrespective of any direction. These are look in a different direction, but here we are not considering the direction. We are just adding up the small parts that are covered by the object. That means it is a scalar quantity, because here we get only the magnitude but no direction. Okay. But displacement is what? It is the shortest route that is taken by the object. Suppose take a look at this example. Suppose this is a straight path, O is the origin, reference point. Suppose from O, the object has to move to the place B. Okay, if the object, instead of directly going from O to B, if the object is taking the path like this, suppose he first travels from O to C, that means he covers 25 kilometer. Again from C to A, he has covered another 35 kilometer. Again from A, he is returning back to the place B, that is again he is covering 25 kilometer. It means total how much distance he has covered up? 25 plus 35 plus again 25 kilometer. This will be the distance. But what is the shortest distance? From O to directly he can go to the position B. That means this is 35 kilometer. This is the displacement. Displacement means instead of taking the long route, taking the shortest route, shortest distance. Okay. Now we can tell displacement in other way also, like it is the shortest distance measured from the initial to the final position of the object. This is the initial, starting, and final is the B, position B. So it is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position of the object. Now these are some differences. Suppose as we have already said, distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. Now why vector quantity? Because here we have to consider the direction also. Okay, so here both magnitude and direction is present, so it is a vector quantity. And distance can never be 0, because if the object will cover a or change its position, that distance, how it can be 0? It can never be 0. Always there will be a certain number. And displacement, it can be 0 also. Why? Because displacement means what? The initial position, the distance between the initial position of the object and the final position of the object. Now when these two positions will coincide, I will show you one example. Okay, this one, when displacement is 0, when the initial position and the final position coincide, then displacement is 0. Suppose here there are two friends A and B. Now A first goes to B's place in this direction. He covers a certain distance. Again he returns back to his own place. That means he is traveling again the same distance but in the opposite direction. So here this is the initial position of the object or the person B, A, and again this is the final position also. So both are coinciding. So here the displacement will become 0, but the distance will not be 0, because distance will be the total of this distance, again this distance addition, but here the displacement is 0. Now motion we divided into two types, like uniform motion and the non-uniform motion. Uniform, from the word I think it is very clear, uniform means equal. Yeah. So when the body or the object will cover equal distance in equal intervals of time, then the body is said to be in uniform motion. Take a look at this chart. Suppose there is one car that is covering in 1 second, the car can cover a distance of 5 meter. In the next 1 second, again the speed or the distance that is covered by the car is again 5 meter. Again in the third second, it is same, not changing, 5 meter. Again in the fourth second also it is 5 meter. That means here in every second the distance that is the car covering is same, 5 meter only. So here what we can see? We can see that the body or the object, that means here the body object is the car, is covering equal distance in equal intervals of time. The time interval will also be equal. Then it is said to be in uniform motion. Uniform means equal. Now if we draw the graph of the uniform motion, here in the x-axis if we take the time, in the y-axis if we take distance, and if you plot the points in a graph paper, you will always get a straight line through passing through the origin. If it is a uniform motion of the object, you will always get a straight line passing through the origin. So this is the nature of the graph of the uniform motion. Sometimes you get question like what is the nature of the graph in case of a uniform motion. So it is what? It is a straight line passing through the origin. Now non-uniform means what? When the object will cover unequal distances, but always in equal intervals of time. Time interval is equal, but the distance covered by the object is not equal, unequal. Like example is when a car will move on a crowded street. On a clear highway, almost we can see that the car is running on a constant same speed only, fixed speed. But when in a crowded place, there are many vehicles, many persons are walking, so there we cannot run the car in a same speed. We need to little lower the speed sometimes, or apply brakes and all, etc, etc. So this is a chart where the car is suppose covering unequal distances. In first 1 hour, the car has covered up 60 kilometers. But in the next 1 hour, the car has slightly lowered its speed. It is now 40 kilometers. Again in the third hour, it is again lower, 30 kilometers per 30 kilometer per hour. Maybe it has come to a crowded place now, so it has to lower up the speed. Again in the next hour, maybe now the road is very clear, not much crowd is there, so it has increased the speed to 80 kilometers per hour. So here what we can see, the distances are unequal, but the time interval is always equal, 1 hour intervals. So this is called non-uniform motion. And if we draw the graph of non-uniform motion, we get like this, a curved line. Here it will not be a straight line, we will get a curved line like this in case of a non-uniform motion. Okay. Now this speed is a parameter which is used to measure the motion or the distance covered by an object. Okay. It is very familiar to you. No? We know that when we go somewhere in a bus or in a car, now we always are aware about this term speed. It is the what? Distance traveled by an object with respect to time. Suppose look here. Okay, this is the formula, na? V equal to S by T. V means it is the symbol for speed, S is the symbol for the distance, and this small letter T is the symbol for time. So when we divide the distance traveled by an object by the time it has taken, we get speed of that vehicle. And it is a scalar quantity because here, like in case of the distance, we don't look at the direction of the object. We only look at the magnitude. So it is a scalar quantity. And the SI unit of speed is meter per second. And these are very some short but important question. What is the SI unit of speed? No? So it is meter per second. So average speed is, sometimes we are covering a very longer distance, isn't it? Suppose if I go to Guwahati, it is 100 kilometers. So if I go to Guwahati, obviously the speed of my car will not be same every time because it has to cover a longer distance. And in every place, different obstacles may come where the speed of my car has to be less, sometimes more. Okay. So in that case, we measure the average speed. When the speed is different or the distance covered by the object is different, then we have to find out the average speed. So it is what? Average speed is the it is obtained by dividing the total distance traveled by the total time. So here in the average speed, what we do, from suppose here to Guwahati, what is the total distance covered and what is the total time taken, all we sum up and then we get the average speed. It is the average speed is equal to total distance traveled divided by total time taken. Here also the formula is same because here also the speed symbol is V only, distance is S and time is T. So formula is same only, but here it is the average speed. Then again one more parameter is the velocity. This is also same, but here what is the difference? Here there is direction. So it has direction. So that is why it is a vector quantity. Not only magnitude, but here it is direction is also present. So it is a vector quantity. So velocity is defined as the speed of an object moving in a definite direction. Why we are telling speed? Because it is same only, but only their direction is present. So that is why it is defined as speed of an object moving in a definite direction. And it is a vector quantity because it has both direction and magnitude also. And velocity we can find out by displacement divided by time, because here there is magnitude, direction. That is why we are taking displacement, not distance. And here also the SI unit is same, meter per second. So like the average speed, there is average velocity also, and average velocity is the arithmetic mean of the initial velocity and the final velocity for a given period of time. So when there will be a difference in the speed, there will be a initial starting one and there will be a final speed or final velocity. So what we need to find out the arithmetic mean of the initial and the final. That is, average velocity is equal to initial velocity plus final velocity and divided by 2. Then we get the arithmetic mean. No? And the symbol we take for the initial velocity is small letter u, and for the final velocity we take small letter v. So this is the formula for the average velocity, that is u plus v divided by 2. Okay, so this all we have discussed today. In our next class we will take up the rest of the remaining topics from this chapter. Till then, thank you.